Hello guys, you're watching Play It Right, and today we're gonna have a look at the second edition of Argonauts by Alcyon Creative. Argonauts is a cooperative game for 1 to 4 players based on the Greek mythological band of heroes and their quest to find and reclaim the Golden Fleece. In the game, you control the legendary Argonauts and try to help them achieve their quest of reaching the land of Colchis, reclaiming the Golden Fleece and returning safely back to Iolkos. There are 4 squads of Argonauts controlled by the players, and how many squads each player controls depends on the total number of players in each game. Let's first have a look at the setup of the game and get familiar with the basic components. Here's the board with the map of the quest. Here you put the Argo event cards. Make sure to remove the Pursued card from the deck. And here's the Exploration event cards. You place the Rations token on the leftmost space and the gold as well on the maximum slot. Here's the Argonauts track, starting with a full crew, and you start the journey with no materials. You also place Argo at Iolkos, the merchant cards, the relic and equipment tokens, and the 12-sided die. Then you place the legendary encounters in the order that they will appear on the map, as well as the port city cards. Last, you divide the Argonauts in 4 squads, leaving out Medea and making sure Jason and Hercules are not in the same squad, and you place on the table the 4 squad tracks. The second edition includes all the mini expansions of the first edition, which are 8 new heroes and some Argo and exploration events, and also adds a 4-piece depiction of the legendary vessel, Argo, and it's used to track Argo's hull integrity. The tiles show initially Argo being in a very good condition, but when she receives hull damage, you flip that many tiles respectively to reveal the damage that was done. When all 4 tiles are flipped, then the ship sinks and the game is over. Argonauts is basically a turn-based cooperative game with point-to-point movement in which all players execute their actions simultaneously. When you start each round, you first reduce the rations by 1, as the crew needs to be fed. If you run out of rations, then you reduce the Argonauts track instead by 1, which signals that there are some crew members unfit for duty due to injury, stress, and so on. The second step is to move Argo 1 spot forward. If the movement ends on a sea space, you draw an Argo event card and resolve it. If your movement ends on a port city, you take the respective card and may choose some of the services offered, about which we're going to talk later on. And finally, if the movement ends in a legendary encounter, you take the respective card and resolve it. In each turn, you may use up to 4 heroes, 1 from each squad. Each hero has a special ability, a class, and some skills like battle, sailing, diplomacy, stealth, and mysticism. After you use a hero for any of these characteristics to perform an action indicated on a card, like using a hero's class to gain access to services provided in port cities or on various events to improve the result of a die, you place the hero on the exhausted space of a squad track. If there is an already exhausted hero on the exhausted space, you move that hero on the next space, which is resting. If a hero is already on the resting space, then you move him back on your hand and you may use him on the next turn. The special abilities of the heroes can be used at any point during the turn after having reduced the rations, and the order in which the players use the special abilities of the heroes is up to them to decide. To win the game, the players play as many turns as required to come back to the port of Iolkos from which they left. But that's not enough, as they need to have at least 1 Argonaut left in their crew, and the ship also needs to be in one piece. That means that if the hull damage on Argo at any moment reaches 4, then the ship will sink and the players will lose the game. So far we have seen the basic characteristics of a hero, his class, his special ability and his skills. Apart from these, the hero cards also show the standing with the gods of Olympus. Blue side is favored, red is cursed, and this will be important in the encounters of the game that will be mitigating or reducing their skill scores. You also have these tokens called Favor of the Gods, and you can use them to skip events with extreme weather conditions. When visiting port cities, it's an opportunity for the Argonauts to restock on rations and gear up on valuable equipment. On each port city, you may use up to 2 of the options listed, unless you use Laertes' ability, in which case you can use up to 3. Activities are resolved one at a time, and the players make the choice of which hero to assign when resolving each activity. Also, note that when you reach the port of Ea, Hercules is removed from the game and is replaced by Medea. The merchant cards offer goods on sale. The card shows you the quantity, the type of good, and the price of them. When a merchant card offers equipment, you flip as many equipment tokens as the card shows. Equipment and relics are used once, and they are discarded and placed back in the pile face down. The Golden Fleece is awarded to the Argonauts after the dragon encounter, irrespectively of if they won or lost the encounter. This powerful item can restore an Argonaut only once per game, and it brings the Argonaut track one space to the left. During the quest, there are some legendary encounters that threaten the hero's journey. There is a specific sequence to them, apart from Pursued Cetus and the Caledonian Boar, which are randomly drawn from the Argo events and exploration decks. The Pursued card is shuffled in the Argo events deck later on in the game, and precisely after the Dragon legendary encounter is resolved. Let's see how to deal with the legendary encounters when they come up. If there is an effect on the card, you resolve it first. Then you select the approach you want to take to deal with it. You can either go for might or for cunning. To claim victory, you need an equal or higher value of skills in the approach you choose. For example, in this legendary encounter, if you go for the might approach, the heroes you have chosen to participate need to have at least a total of 8 in their sailing skills. But there is one extra step to be taken to resolve the encounter. You need to check for divine intervention. You roll the 12-sided die and look for the number you rolled on the divine intervention table on the board. If the resulting god favors or hinders a hero, that player has to either add or subtract 1, respectively, to any one of the skills for which he used this hero. You can skip rolling for divine intervention by spending a favor of the god's token. After you have taken into account the divine intervention step, you can see whether that legendary encounter ended in victory or defeat, and you follow the respective action on the card. There are rules to adjust the game difficulty if you want. The setup we saw so far is the hard mode, but you can also go for the easy mode or the normal mode by adjusting the starting material and by removing specific event cards. There is also an alternative game mode, Entropy, which features randomly drawn legendary encounters. The Pursued encounter will be shuffled in the deck from the beginning of the game, and the port cities will be also randomized by rolling the 12-sided die. Also, in Entropy, the starting Argonauts deck has both Medea and Hercules in it. And that was Argonauts in a nutshell. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoy the game.